welcome back. I just want to start with a disclaimer. Please Please ignore all of the bird noises that you hear in the background. We have suddenly become an aviary and we now also have 2 finches along with my darling Cake over there, who is making very, very weird noises. Thank you. Today, what the video is actually about, I will be running you through my top 5 books that I've read this year. I have started this year, like, honestly, quite well. I think that I've done a pretty good job in reading. July has slacked a little bit, and so I'll be taking you through the top 5 books that I have personally read this year that I haven't read before. So there's a few books that I've read this year that are actually rereads, but I'm just going to go through the ones that are books that I have read for the first time this year. These books are in no particular order whatsoever, so they are just my top 5 that I have read. So without further ado, let us begin. We have a guest because he won't be quiet. He makes some nice noises though, I will say. So the first book that I would like to mention is The Burning White by Brent Weeks. This is the final book in the Lightbringer series. If you don't know this series, I have spoken about it on my channel before, but roughly it is a story following a young boy in a magical world that is filled with people who can control colours. Each colour manifests as its own type of magic. So in this world there is one person who can control all of the colours in the spectrum, and they are called the Prism, and the Prism generally tends to like kind of rule over this world in a way. So the series follows a young boy named Kip. He is the main character, and he goes on a huge adventure that is filled with politics, magic, war. There are so many different components to this series. It is such a rich world, the storyline is fantastic, and the characters are just incredible. So this book is obviously the conclusion to the series. I loved how it wrapped up, and I just loved how everything kind of came together in the end. So yes, this book. The next book that I want to talk about that I finished this year, that is one of my favorites, and it is of no surprise that it's Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I think every time I do a favorites video, the Cassandra Clare release of that year is a part of it. The Last Hour series is Cassandra Clare's new trilogy that is coming out. It follows the children of the people from the Clockwork Angel series. So it is more that period historical Shadowhunters series. I really don't want to give anything away for this book. If you know the Shadowhunter world or the Shadowhunter series at all, you will know where this fits in and what happens. I obviously don't want to explain anything from this for obvious reasons, because this book would spoil many, many of the other ones if you haven't read them. So I just want to say that this book was really good. The characters were so lovable. Cassandra Clare just gets better with every single series that she does, so I'm really, really excited for the rest of these to come out. The next book that I want to talk about is a book that I don't have the physical copy of because I read a borrowed copy. It is This Is Going to Hurt. This is a collection of journal entries from a guy who went through medical school, and it just goes through all of the ridiculous and crazy and heartbreaking stories that he encountered when he was a medical student going through his registry, all of that kind of stuff. It had me laughing non-stop from start to finish. I read it in such a short amount of time. It was really easy to read, and it was honestly one of the funniest books that I have just ever read, and it was great. The next book that I'm going to talk about, again, another one that is of no surprise for anyone who is reading young adult booktube books, Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. I have not felt emotions and feelings for books in a very long time, and this book just brought it back. It did. The first probably 2/3 of this book, I think I've spoken about this before, but the first 2/3 of this book were a bit long to get through, but the last third of this book really it was just event after event after event after event, and just things just kept happening and everything tied itself together. You're in my shirt. Oh god. Ah! What are you doing? What are you doing? Can you not? Hello. This book follows a story of Bryce, who is a half fae. She is living in a very urban fantasy world filled with fae, obviously, but there are many other races as well, like wolves and vampires, and you have all of those kind of mystical creatures inhabiting a city that has also got humans in it as well. Bryce has a group of friends with whom she used to party quite a lot with, but then everything kind of changes when, again, no spoiler because it's on the back of the cover, but everything changes when some of her best friends are murdered, and she has to then go on this mission to find out what happened. I loved this book. Obviously, that's why I'm talking about it in this video. Patty has some things to say about it as well, but I'm really excited for the rest of this series. I don't know how many books it's going to be. There are 5 different houses within this series and this world. And that would kind of lead me to believe that there may be 5 books in the series, but I'm not quite sure. But whatever it is, I'm really excited for the rest of them to come out. And the last book that I want to talk about, and like obviously I know I said these aren't ranked, but this is probably honestly my favourite one yet, and it's Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I have raved about this in one of my other videos. I'll leave it in the link description down below, but this is obviously the series that the Studio Ghibli movie was based on. Howl's Moving Castle is a story that follows a lady named Sophie who has a spell put on her by a witch. She then goes to obviously Howl's Moving Castle to find the wizard Howl to get him to help her take the spell off. However, she encounters Howl and he has his own curse on him, and there's just a huge story, fantastic characters. They go along a few different journeys. There's a love story that's involved. It's just got the whole package, and it is one of the greatest books that I think I have ever read. And I went back and actually watched the movie, and it was really nice to have everything properly explained within the movie itself from the book, so that was really fun. But anyway guys, those are my top 5 books of the year that I've read so far. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what your favourite books that you've read this year are, because obviously I've still got some room left in my top 10 of the year because we have half a year left, so please let me know and I might give some of them a read as well. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!